Hey everybody, Marquee Matchup time, NFL style. He's Scott Spreitzer. I'm Tony George. Big game here. Well, it looked like a big game 3 weeks ago. Now it doesn't look like a big game. Dallas Cowboys taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, and of course Dallas here at home laying 48.5. Nice job, Garrett. Nice job last week, guys, blowing my teaser. You blew my teaser. You couldn't cover one against the Jets, but at least I have no bitterness.
Oh, no. It's completely over.
Nonetheless, these two teams here, 3-3 each. Guess what? They're playing for the lead in the division.
That's why it's a big game.
Football.
That's why it's a big game. Both teams are tied for first.
And I don't know what to think about what's going on down in Dallas. They could have Cooper and Cobb both out in this game at wide receiver. I know Cooper's going to be out. Maybe Cobb might return. You want to check the injury report closer to game time on this and see if that affects the line here, Scott. But let me tell you, when Dallas was laying an egg, basically a dog turd to cantaloupe patch up at Meadowlands in that stadium. Minnesota was taking a crap in the middle of the field in Minnesota last week while Dallas was doing
Philly was taking a crap.
Yeah, Philly was taking a crap at Minnesota. Dallas in the Meadowlands. I don't know what to make of either one of these two teams. They've lost all momentum altogether. It looks like Jason Garrett is losing this team based on some of the body language of the players coming off the field. It's been much ballyhooed in the media this week, Scott, but I don't feel comfortable with Dallas Cowboys right now laying 3 to anybody in my book.
Here's a good stat. This is our good old friend, R.I.P., Buzz Daly, who an old stat that he would come up with. Dallas is 1-8 against the spread and allowing 31 points per game at home off a loss as a favorite under Jason Garrett. In other words, when they lose games they're not supposed to, so to speak, they don't bounce back well, at least under Jason Garrett, especially on defense. But here's a couple of things about the Cowboys. We want to put it all on Jason Garrett's shoulders as far as the blame. But they don't have 2 offensive tackles who are still out.
Right.
Check and make sure and see if they're still out for this week in both. They've been missing their offensive tackles for the last couple of games. Awfully tough to block and have a consistent running game and keep guys off of Dak Prescott when you've got your 2 offensive tackles missing. And when he's rolling right and he needs that left tackle to protect his blind side, it's just not there right now, the protection. So check that out. They've got numerous injuries. Tony mentioned Amari Cooper got banged up last week. Here's the thing about that game last week. That final drive where Dallas cut it from 24-16 to 24-22. There were like 7 or 8 penalties on that final drive, calling some that shouldn't even have been called. But then on the 2-point conversion, pass right to Jason Witten, gets absolutely mugged in the end zone, chance to tie the game, send it to OT. He gets mugged, and they don't call a penalty on the most obvious penalty of the entire game. Horrible officiating.
If that was a male and a female, the guy that grabbed her would be in prison.
Careful.
That's how bad that missed call was on that play.
So if it was, never mind. I'm not going to even go there.
No, I'm just saying that was.
I'll tell you my thought was. What my thought was after the video.
Well, the refereeing. And I'm just going to make a quick side note here. There's some bad refereeing in that game. The Monday night game was a glaring example. When the NFL was always worried about the integrity of their game when it came to sports betting, the integrity of your game is in question because the officiating sucks and you need to do something about it. There's too many calls and miscalls like that are determining the outcome of games that tens of millions of people are watching, that tens of millions of dollars are bet on them, Scott. Yeah. And, I love the NFL, don't get me wrong, but it's frustrating, and that was an example on Sunday. Then you saw a couple examples on Monday night, and it's starting to be a little disconcerting to me.
Well, even KC, I think there was an interception in the game where they were driving, and the flag was thrown on the field. It looks like it's going to be a defensive penalty, which it was, but they overturned it. So Patrick Mahomes does what Aaron Rodgers always likes to do. When Aaron Rodgers gets an offsides by the defense, he goes deep. He attempts to get either a deep pass interference or a deep completion, and that's what Patrick Mahomes did on one of their drives that was inside the 30-yard line of the opposition. And what happened? They throw the flag. He thinks he's got a free play. He throws one towards the end zone. It gets picked. And then after the play is over, they say, oh, well, we're picking up the flag, no call. Well, guess what? Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw that football, attempted to take advantage of what he thought was a defensive penalty if the officials keep the flag in their pocket a little bit more. So, anyway, as far as this game, I'll get you had something else you wanted to add?
No, not really, other than the fact that this game here, we kind of got off tangent, but this game here, I don't think it's going to be decided by penalties. Although it could be. At the end of the day, the Cowboys make more mistakes than what Philadelphia does.
Sure.
And Philadelphia's a better coach. Yes, Peterson said in the media they're going to go down to Dallas and win the game. You know what? I agree with you. I think the wrong team's favor here. If those tackles are out and Cooper and Cobb are both out, you want to get on this early because the wrong team's favor. Now, if they get a tackle back and maybe they get Cobb back, it might make them more competitive. But they weren't competitive last week without those two tackles, Scott. They lost one of their key playmakers. And if those players are not in the mix this week, I think Philly might go down there and put it to them.
They're banged up too, Philly. Watch out for that defensive backfield. That secondary is a little bit banged up. Here's the thing, though, and I have no problem with what Peterson said. He never guaranteed.
No.
He just said, we're going to go down there, we're going to win this football game. What's he supposed to say? We're going to go down there and, gosh, hopefully we won't get our butts kicked sideways. So I got no problem with that. But here's the thing. If we're going to be rough on Jason Garrett for being 3-3, we ought to be rough on Doug Peterson for being 3-3 with the talent he's got in place. He's got some injuries too, but he's getting kind of a free pass outside of Philadelphia right now. But again, my best advice on this, follow the injury reports, see where the injuries are, see if anybody's coming back who's important to both teams, and then go from there.
Wait a second. Here's something from the cheap seats. My buddy Mark behind the camera. What is it, Mark? Oh, tease. Oh, tease.
Well,
if you're getting 3 on Sunday with the Eagles in this game, I'd tease them up through 6 and 7 and get them up to 9. Probably make the nice back end of a teaser somewhere, 2 team 6-pointers
Not a bad idea.
in my book. That's the marquee matchup. Get over to DocSports.com. You got some good games this Sunday. I got a couple in there, make you a little bit of money as well. Be sure and get over to Docs, take advantage of that free $60 we give you by clicking that link, and tune in again next week to the marquee matchup.